Hi, Wen.
Hi.
Okay, so first start off, tell me a little bit about yourself. Why are you here in Dharamsala?
I came here first about 4 years ago, after going to Tibet first, and just from different personal experiences with me being ethnically Chinese, and some things that happened, it kind of, made me decide to come here. And it was after a lot of trips actually back and forth, finishing school and traveling more back and forth, that I finally decided to move here after I graduated.
So you've been living here for a while. Common Ground is fairly new. Tell me what it is, when it opened.
We opened this restaurant almost 4 months ago, and the main purpose is to build a platform so that Chinese and Tibetans can connect on many different levels. I mean, His Holiness talks all the time about how we need to reach out to Chinese people, how Tibetans need to reach out to Chinese people. But as a Tibetan here and in many places around the world, there's not that platform, and there's not a neutral, friendly platform. There's what you see on YouTube, all these different things that's really derogatory and negative language, and we see the attacks and we see that kind of discourse, but we don't see, like-minded people talking about things.
Talking positively.
Yeah.
Now, recently I think you know Chin Jin.
Yeah.
How was that received? Because Chin's been a really large proponent of actually making China a democracy. He's lived in exile for 20 years.
To have a Chinese also in exile, it's not really something that people here look at. In terms of just getting outside the box, we're not really connecting with people who are in a similar situation. We're not working together with the Chinese Democrats. We're not working together with Uyghur people, with other ethnic minorities, and there's not, we're kind of staying, it's kind of like tunnel vision after a while, but just opening up the dialogue. I mean, one of the most productive ways to deconstruct propaganda that is so strong is just for one person to meet another person. There's been many instances where Chinese people have actually met Tibetans, listened to their personal stories, and when you have someone sitting in front of you, telling them about your life story, you either think, well, they're lying or they're telling you the truth. And if there's someone sitting in front of you and they're telling you about their life story, they're telling the truth, and you can see that, then there's something wrong with what you know and what you understand. So we're not preaching any political ideology. We're not preaching any way or any path. What we're trying to do is just making the space available for people to connect on whatever they want to talk about, but trying to facilitate a space where the exchange is respectful.
How is it going now? You have different events, you've had different concerts, you've had different music events. What are some of the different things that you've done here so far? Yeah.
It was last week. There was a local band called JGI. They're quite popular here. And they played with this one guy from Beijing, and this guy was quite a character. But during the teachings, he shouted, "Your Holiness, I'm from Beijing!" He cut through all the bureaucracy, and he got a private audience with His Holiness.
Okay.
And what he wanted to do was meet His Holiness for his 30th birthday. And he had traveled to Tibet before and was really disillusioned by a lot of things that, that he had read and whatnot. And so, he was here, and now he's going to go back and try and tell his friends and family what he experienced here. But, he was, he's going to have quite a hard time,
Talking freely.
with the reception on that end. But it's not until you actually come here and you see that, these are people's lives here, and TYC is not a terrorist organization.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And you get to meet different people, and you connect with different people's, stories and their lives, and become their friends, and that's when the next step approaches.
Speaking of next step, what are some of the next steps for Common Ground?
Well, we're still waiting for some different paperwork to go through, so we haven't formally started the organization yet. So the cafe kind of serves as the platform for the organization, a sustainable source of income for us, so that we don't necessarily have to depend on different grants and whatnot. So something, an income.
Now you
that
have one of
comes
the
from
best
community.
cooks here. You have Tashi, who used to be on the board at the Hope Center. He's amazing. I love his food.
Yeah, we have a really good staff here, very good staff.
So what else is going to happen then?
So we have two different approaches to how we, want to bridge the gap between Chinese and Tibetan people. And one way is a more direct way, and that involves bringing Chinese students here. And to begin with, we're going to target Chinese university students in the States. So we're trying to establish different relationships with American universities so that we can make these academic programs and they can recruit their university students to come here. And the first one that we're planning will be this summer, and it'll be kind of a multimedia photography project. So it would be the first year for Chinese students and for Tibetan students who really have to speak through the photography of how they see different things. So that's a more direct approach that involves a few people but a more direct impact. And the other approach is reaching out to more people on a lower impact level. So that would include, right now we're starting to build this social networking sites, very similar to the interface of Facebook, but specifically for Chinese and Tibetans. So it would make it really, really easy for any Chinese and any Tibetan to create a profile, to upload their picture, to list their interests, and then to connect with other people, other Chinese or Tibetan people with similar interests.
How are you going to handle moderation on that so it doesn't become the YouTube situation?
There's a system. We're trying to. All of this is very complicated sort of IT stuff. But there is, if you have a community, there's a way to flag offensive language and things like that. So different members would be able to flag different things. And then there, of course, there would be ground rules like no threats, no vulgar language.
Okay. If people want to learn more about Common Ground, do you have a website set up now or Facebook? What information should people look for to learn more about what you're doing?
The website right now is only the holding page, so it's just commongroundsproject.org. And then we have a page on Facebook, but we're still kind of in the very beginning stages of building this up, because it is something that could be construed as sensitive. So we just want to, take all the legitimate steps to, creating this organization and just playing it safe.
Awesome. Now, question. Can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Awesome. Good. Thank you so much, my dear.
Yeah.